name is Sam, and this is another drag race. Let's roll! Here's what we're doing today. We got the 2023 Honda Civic Type R, which I'm driving currently, and the 2023 Nissan Z 6-speed manual, and the 2022 Elantra N 6-speed manual. But to make it interesting, here's how we're gonna do this. Will be an elimination round, meaning that the Elantra N versus the Civic Type R will go first, and then whichever one wins goes up against the Nissan Z. So, the first race we're gonna do is the Elantra N versus the Civic Type R, both 6-speed manuals. And the next after that, whoever wins goes up against the Nissan Z. But we're gonna start with the roll races. In this case, let's talk about the specs. What do these two make, and how much do they weigh, and how much do they actually cost? So this is gonna be a bit of interesting. Let's talk about the specs. The 2023 Civic Type R uses a 2-liter 16-valve 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and it makes 315 brake horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. It uses a 6-speed manual transmission, and it is, of course, like the old gen, front-wheel drive. But it has a curb weight of 3,190 pounds. The next one is the 2023 Nissan Z 6-speed manual transmission. This uses the famous 3-liter twin-turbocharged V6, making 400 brake horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. Uses 6-speed manual transmission, and it is rear-wheel drive. But it has a curb weight of 3,519 pounds. The next one is the 2022 Elantra N 6-speed manual transmission. Under the hood, it uses a 2-liter turbocharged 16-valve 4-cylinder engine. It makes 276 brake horsepower and 289 pound-feet of torque. Uses 6-speed manual transmission. It is front-wheel drive, and it has a curb weight of 3,808 pounds in comparison to the Civic Type R, which is about 3,190 pounds. That's about 18 pounds more for the Elantra N and less horsepower. But we want to find out nonetheless. And the first thing we're going to do is the roll race. Okay, here we go. The first roll race we're going to do is first, second gear. Hold it in second gear. We're going to try to get above 50 kilometers an hour. We want to warm up the tires, hence why we do the roll race first. And then we'll jump into the dig race, so that way we got the tires up to temperature. So the first one we'll do is the roll race. Let's roll! I got R mode on my side. Make sure you're onto reverse. And when I say 1, 2, 3, go, and go, we roll together. Just stay right beside me all the way to the second cones. Not the first ones, the second ones over there. Any questions?
Let's get it.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. He's not far. He is not far. Blaine, you weren't far off from me, like maybe a car.
The 276 is fairly accurate until you do the boost learning, because then you get like an extra 3 pounds of boost.
Yeah, that really helps. I love that car. The first time I drove it, I was very impressed. But here's what we're gonna do. Next, we're gonna do it at a little bit higher speed, just to see the difference. That way we get the temperature up, the tires up to temperature. Do a little bit of weaving, because that really brings the tires up to temp. I've learned that watching too much Formula One. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Pretty much the same result. Okay, Blaine, we're gonna do this from a dig now. I think the tires are up to temperature. We should be good to go when his hands are down. Keep in mind in R+ mode, I'm not turning off traction. We're gonna keep the traction on. I think that would be the best. I don't know, does yours turn off traction?
It doesn't matter.
That's a good point. I love the spirit. Doesn't matter, let's have fun. Okay, so let's do this from a dig to see the difference. Damn, I just realized like I'm at half a tank here. I got some weight shed from that drive. Okay, I'm ready. Come on, Honda. My God, exactly the same as a roll race. Okay, Blaine, let's do this one more time. I don't think the result is going to be any different, but let's see, maybe the tires are a little bit up to temperature, a bit more than before. So let's have some fun. You ready, sir?
Ready, let's go.
So fast. Yeah, I think if we could be here all day, like the result is going to be very much the same. Listen, I really appreciate you joining us for this video again and keeping your car stock just for this video. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. I hope you had as much fun as I did. You know, these are not super fast cars, Blaine, but you and I know they're a lot of fun.
And that's what it's all about.
I love the spirit, man. Thank you so much. I'll see you at the end.
Race you there.
The next one we're going to do now is the Civic Type R versus the 6-speed Nissan Z. Dave, thank you so much for joining us today with your Nissan Z. Congratulations on that car, man. I think this is your first race with your car here, correct?
Yes, it is.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do road racing this time, just to get the tires up to temperature for you mostly, because I know those Bridgestone need a bit of spinning to get up to temperature. So in that case, we're going to do first, second gear all the way to the second cone. You see the second cones over there? First cones are for the dig race. The second cones are for the roll race. When I say 1, 2, 3, go, on go, we roll together. You stay right beside me. We're going to start in first gear, then go into second gear, keep it in second gear all the way to the cones. Any question?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
Love the spirit. Okay, so when I say 1, 2, 3, go, on go, we roll. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh my God. Yeah, horsepower. Good. Okay, sir. So this one, we're going to do it exactly the same, but we're going to try to get it at a higher speed. So stay right beside me, you know, just to make it a bit fair. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Make sure into first gear. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Pretty much the same result. Oh my God, this is interesting. He's not, I'm not far, and towards the end. I had a better launch control than he did. I spun, but not by much. See, I know I will say this again, it is tires. It's 100% tires because I got Michelin tires, he's got Bridgestone. Here, let's listen to this. Let me guess, you were spinning your way all the way through, right?
Yeah, I was somewhat spinning. I didn't use launch control. I'm just trying to get the car off the line. trying the best way I can, and this is best as I can do.
You did amazing, I have to say, but like it's crazy that I was just keeping up with you halfway, and then towards the end, of course, you got me. Let's do this one more time. This is actually a lot of fun. What? Yeah, it's just like towards the end that he got me on that. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Yeah, it's just... just tire spinning, tire spinning. Dave, let's just say that this is the last one because I think the temperature at the last one got really nicely up to temp. So what do you think? The tires got up to temp on the last drag race because you hooked a little bit better, right?
Yeah, but the tires are still garbage for the billionth time.
Listen, I understand that. Here, I'll see you towards the end. I just want to say thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate you joining us today for this drag race. Listen, the Z is one of my favorite cars that came out last year for what it is. A lot of fun car, just missing a few things here and there. I'm sure with the Nismo, it's going to be a little better. So anyways, thanks a lot, Dave, for joining us.
Pleasure.
So let's talk about the Civic Type R a little bit. Let me give you my thoughts because this is the first time I have driven this thing. This is my first time have it for a full week. And I've been driving it all week because I really wanted to know how different it is from the older gen. And here's some of the things that I can tell you about the Civic Type R. First of all, in my opinion, look-wise, they absolutely nailed it, 10-10. It finally doesn't look like a 15-year-old car owner kind of thing. Like, you don't look like a 15-year-old boy owning this thing. It just, the previous model for me didn't do it. It looked very cartoonish, too many things popping out. This is more mature. The lines are beautiful, the wide body, the wing in the back, everything works. They have made it exactly what I wanted a Civic Type R to look like. How does it drive? In comfort mode, the suspension system, it's very comfortable. And in fact, I drove it to the track today, which is about an hour and a half from Toronto, and it's not all highway, but it's half enough. So it's a perfect way to show how this thing handles. And it's actually very comfortable. The seats are comfortable. In terms of space on the inside, I was able to put my son in the back with his car seat and then my wife behind me, and we could all sit comfortably with the baby stroller in the trunk and still enough space. That's very, very important because a lot of people might have this as a daily car. In fact, John Cena, I watched the video, he said that he daily drives this thing. I imagine that guy being that big. The seats are fantastic. The interior is beautiful. The cluster, the massive screen in the center here, which offers quite a lot. Not massive, but just big enough to show you. The manual transmission is smooth. The gears are so close that it's so easy to shift this thing and you can have so much fun. the difference between comfort and R mode is noticeable. Here's what I don't like. The sound, it's not that good. It doesn't sound that good in comparison to the outgoing model, but it can be fixed, of course. Another thing I don't like about this, in sport mode, it's way too stiff when you put it in R+. In sport mode, I find it to be almost good. In R mode, it's like very bouncy, like even in a straight line, it's still, not there. It's still not an all-wheel drive, but the actual fans of the Civic Type R wanted a front-wheel drive. I'm not the biggest fan of front-wheel drives, but this thing really hooks. It's not a drag race car for most of the time. It's a track car that you can have a lot of fun. I hate the fact that we don't have a manual gear handbrake here because it's just not. I don't like an automatic handbrake. I'd love to have a manual one. In these cars, you want to have that. But the fact that we got a 6-speed manual, it's definitely something. The price, it is a little bit expensive, but if you pay MSRP, you're getting a deal. If you pay an overprice, you're an idiot in my opinion, because I'm never gonna pay $65,000 for a Civic Type R. Never ever. I'll pay maybe 55, but 65 plus Canadian, not even looking. That would be about 60,000 USD. I would never pay that because it's just not that kind of car. I mean, I got my M3 for just a bit more than that, and it's an M3 in comparison to this, which you can of course get a manual transmission too and rear-wheel drive. I think they've nailed it. They have done a fantastic job on the outside, the inside. It's exactly what this thing should have looked like in the previous generation, which it kind of looked like funny. I didn't like that. I love this, and I'm not a big fan of front-wheel drive cars. You guys know, you've watched my channel for a while. I am not the biggest fan of front-wheel drive cars. They're very sluggish and very slow sometimes, especially off the line. Around the track, they're a lot of fun if you know how to drive them. I'm more of a rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, but I could see myself owning one of these. I'm very impressed with what they've done, and honestly, I don't want to give this back this week. I have to give it back tomorrow because it's already past 1 week almost, and I genuinely do not want to give this back. I'm interested in how the Integra Type S will drive, but this, I have to say, Honda, 9 out of 10, or actually 10 out of 10, this thing is perfect. I love it. Absolutely love it.